Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the da 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 Intel Extreme Masters. As that was terrifying. Oh. I wanted to go back to normal, but now I just can't. Yeah. We do have results coming in, Todd. You're currently in Euthermal versus True, and I think something is going on laptop 2.
Yes, if we could have a look. Euthermal is trying to make it up. There it is.
There we go.
Yeah. And he's just playing mech, basically. He wasn't doing too bad, but True was always ahead in supply, traded well, and now... Actually, we just missed like one big moment, sadly, where Euthermal lost a whole bunch of SCVs just now, and now it looks like he's going to kind of, I think, build one last army to try and finally win this game. But True is very well upgraded. He's got Vipers.
Yep.
Yeah, he's +3 missile attacks. So, yeah.
Nice.
I got nothing.
No, I was
after that last segment, into that double music in the intro, like
yeah, this game slowed down.
that was way fast at the end. All right, well, thank you very much, gents. We're going to be going into Dark versus INnoVation next. And to be honest, coming into this tournament, and especially into Group B, this is a fixture that we thought this could be the best, one of the best games of the tournament, if not the best game of the group.
A match for the first place is, I think, what we expected.
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
Whereas it might be a match for survival, or a match for elimination for one of them. Whoever loses here is in so much trouble. So for them to meet at this stage, it's pretty crazy in this situation here.
Yeah, and we can't really emphasize how unprecedented this really is, Tasteless. Looking at how these two players came into the tournament and their position before, we just never expected them to be here.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt and say that there's still a chance that actually either of these guys could win the entire tournament. But it seems right now like they're having a bumpy day. And it is strange, right? With results like this, I do not think that we would ever be concerned about one guy moving on and the other guy not when it comes to these two players.
I mean, does INnoVation here has to be extremely concerned with the position that he's in? He's going up against someone like Dark, who, in my mind, has extremely good TVZ.
Sure.
So INnoVation, in the past, has had phenomenal TVZ, but Solar today has shown up, bopped nerds. You're the master of the bop.
The bop, yeah.
So I don't think
there were some bops. I mean, if they were a food, they'd be a beep and bop.
That's
Kaelaris. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here.
Go.
But you know, there's moments where we see both INnoVation and Dark kind of not deliver, but I don't think it's generally indicative of how they're going to look in the rest of the entire tournament.
Yeah.
So I'm still optimistic for them.
Your thoughts coming into this this series, Todd?
I hope that these guys are ready to play their heart out, because whoever loses here is, I think, pretty much guaranteed to go out of the tournament and is going to be in big trouble. And to lose one of these guys early, it kind of sucks, but it means that other people are playing well. Euthermal, Solar, Hurricanes, they're the true surprise here in this group. And yeah, it's amazing. Amazing times.
Yeah, so let's get into it, ladies and gents. Thank you very much, gentlemen, as we do have Dark versus INnoVation coming up now. It's the match that we thought was going to be for first place, potentially, in this group. However, these two are really now fighting to stay alive.
G'day guys, Dark versus INnoVation about to begin. Not fighting for first place in Group B as everyone out there would have predicted, but it is in fact to stay alive.
Alive indeed. A battle these guys did not expect to be fighting this early on, but here they are nonetheless. And a couple of tough matches, a couple of crazy matches. Corruptor Zerg versus Zerg going down. INnoVation losing some late game TVZs. There's been a bit of back and forth action on both sides, but now is the true test.
One of my favorite Terrans of all time with probably my favorite Zerg in the whole world against each other. I am a spoiled kid. It's my birthday and Christmas all at once here in IEM Katowice. At the top left here, the South Korean Zerg. This is Dark.
Please pause, of course, Dark there, just having some sort of issue, which he's going to ask to have sorted out immediately. And
it's been a little bit of internet problems here and there, just some spikes. You guys might have noticed we had a stream drop at one point, but it's minor. It's all good. Shouldn't be too long to fix it.
We'll be back into it in a moment. I mean, what we can talk about, even though the action isn't going forward right now, is the map pick, Maynarde.
Yeah.
Abiogenesis.
Abiogenesis. Tomato. It's
We actually looked it up. We looked it up in Pyeongchang. I'm pretty sure it's abiogenesis.
Abiogenesis.
Just said kind of fast, yeah.
Oh.
It just sounds wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
I normally just call it biogenesis because it sounds like smoother. Like I feel like the A is,
I was trying to think about how I pronounce it. Abiogenesis is usually how I go.
Abio. Yeah, I think quite a lot of people do.
Abio.
Maybe you can say, it's probably one of those ones you can say however you want because there's like 3 people in the world that have ever actually said this word.
Yeah,
outside of a university. Nonetheless, it is a rush map, of course. It is the crazy short map. And that's why it's always fascinating when the players are like, no, I'm just going to play this. Because as a Terran player, it's quite scary because Zerg have a lot of rushes and they can get to your side of the map in about 30, well, I was going to say 30 seconds, about 6 seconds, really, isn't it? It's like you literally leave your base and you're at their base. So there's a lot of different all-ins that Zerg can throw out. But on the other side of things, if Terran can get to like the middle stages, Terran always has a strong defender's advantage against Zerg.
Yeah.
And their big problem is getting to the Zerg's base to actually push them. You get to the middle stages on an even footing, Zerg has a terrible time on this map.
That is true, but to go on one of your earlier points, like as a Terran player myself, we're playing almost exclusively Terran. I play other races from time to time, but I see Abiogenesis and I'm like, lots of cliffs, short rush distance. This seems pretty good versus Zerg. But then Zergs will do things like 2 base Roach Ravager rush or even just send their first 6 slings across the map to deny your low ground expand, and you're like, well,
Yeah, I think a lot of the people watching out there, the Terran players, can probably empathize with this one. I know I have the same experience. I'm like, this will be really good. I'm going to do this sort of rush, and I just die before I even get to do my rush. And I'm like, Luckily, INnoVation is kind of the master of defending things nonchalantly, just with micro and kind of pulling everything out. We've seen him many times just do incredible pulls of SCVs, great micro, and defend all sorts of stuff. And realistically, looking at this map, I mean, Dark, he's not really the most unpredictable when it comes to rushes. He just chooses the right map, executes them perfectly, and he seems to always mix a rush strategy into every best-of-3 series.
Well, we'll see if that's on the cards here. Obviously, we basically saw 12 drones and a hatchery, so we're not super sure as to what the builds are going to be for each player. We can always theorize. Theory crafting is a good, fun pastime of mine, especially with StarCraft, but we really, truly won't know until the games are underway. Didn't even get to introduce INnoVation here.
Of course, I think, realistically, if we think about INnoVation having a bit of a surprising struggle so far in the bracket, there's one moment that just keeps replaying in my head, and that's him nuking himself on stream before this morning. They were doing the kind of over-the-shoulder shots of the players, although practicing. He was in this weird game where he was kind of like just nuking all over the map, and then he like walked his army into one of his own nukes, and I couldn't tell if he was like aware he was on stream and he was trolling because he like tabbed out afterwards. Because it was like a weird moment where he nukes his own army, tabs out, is like, oh, I'm on stream, watches his own army get nuked on the stream, within the stream, and then just kind of continues to watch his own stream for a few minutes. It was a little bit of a weird series of events. Wondering if he's had a little bit of fun there on the Diamond Ladder warming up today.
Yeah, it wasn't quite an Optimus nuke, but it did give me a good chuckle.
Not quite the Vince. Vince
not
nuke,
quite
no.
the Ephemeral Vince nuke that I tend to enjoy over and over again for pure joy. But in the bottom right here, we saw him a little bit earlier, but let's have another look. This is INnoVation. All right, now we get to talk about the builds.
Oh yeah, well, soon enough anyway. He's hatched first, I guess, for Dark, so does tell us he's just going to expand nice and early, and it is just going to be a gas first for INnoVation, which is very standard. Even if you're planning to just do an expand build, you kind of want to get out your Hellions and then potentially Cyclones as quickly as possible to defend any of those fast Ravager rushes. So all things expected here.
Another reason why I thought this map was pretty decent for Terran was because there's like, it's not just like there's one Reaper cliff and a ramp. It's like there's a ramp and a Reaper cliff and a Reaper cliff and a Reaper cliff. You can't stop those guys from getting in your main and having a look, you know what I mean?
And you can nerf the Beyond off the ladder, but you can't nerf the Mass Reaper off the Biogenesis, man. I feel like would be cool to see a bunch of Mass Reaper on this map. Obviously, TVT, 2Rex Reaper, definitely something that could come out a little bit. But here in Terran versus Zerg, bit of a dead strategy for the moment, not something we see too often, is going to be that Reaper coming on out of there. And I'd say, INnoVation's point of view, I'm expecting Hellion Banshee. This is what you expect. Banshee is one of the best ways to deal with any sort of rush coming your way. Obviously, Hellions can spot it early, and if you want to, you can add a few Cyclones in there. So that's what I tend to see from Terran players here. No idea what Dark's going to throw out, though.
He did whip it out against Solar with mixed success. Sometimes it worked, sometimes, you know, Solar would defend really, really nicely. I like what Dark did with his little drone here. Just sort of parked it by the extractor, waiting for the Reaper just in case before turning into a third base. So, just chilling.
He's just chilling, man. He's just going to build that hatchery now. Yep, and the reactor's finishing up back on Inno's side, so we're going to find out what his plan is in just a moment. The Overlord, absolutely no shame, just floating around the base. And actually, a Reaper on the way, a second Reaper. Could be a fast armory as well with that, or it could just be the double Reaper with the Hellions just for the extra kind of bouncing combo against the Queens. Both decent choices, but this is something we usually see with an armory, and then they kind of try and bounce the Queens into the Hellbats.
I can see he's putting that 150 minerals and 100 gas into a starport instead of an armory. That's okay. Certainly a pretty powerful tool to be able to get that, you know, obviously when he's getting a Reaper, he's not getting a Tech Lab right now, so slows that down a little bit. Now he's getting it. The Overlord's coming in for another look-see to make sure that he's up against what he thinks he's up against, but it is kind of interesting to see the multiple Reapers. A little bit of a run around the outside here with the Lings from Dark.
You can see Inno kind of searching the edges of the middle of the map. Didn't quite go all the way down to that edge, though. These Zerglings are going to sneak in. Two Hellions about halfway from popping. Is INnoVation just going to dive to take advantage of this? I don't know. Those Zerglings are in there, and they're doing damage right now. He's going to start to engage the Queens, but a Mule goes down. Another almost fresh Mule taking a lot of damage.
All the SCVs are fighting off the line there with the two Hellions out. Should be able to deflect those Lings, but losing 5 SCVs does really sting for INnoVation. In fact, looks like he might have lost a Hellion as well.
Yeah, lots of damage going down here for just a handful of Zerglings.
Oh man, has to pull all the way back. That really stings for INnoVation.
Great start here for our Zerg player. Is going to be doing another Zergling run by INnoVation, desperate to put on the counter pressure. Has committed everything over to this side of the map here. He's looking to slow down that creep spread at the very least.
Oh, I think INnoVation might be actually going for an armory shortly. He's getting Cyclones now, throwing out some Marines. It'd be pretty sick to have that +1 here for the, you know, for Hellbats and also for Cyclones, but as it stands, he's just going for a standing force without upgrades, and he is getting Cloak here for Banshees, but yeah, he's gonna have a pretty cool high DPS sort of tanky backline.
Yep.
Which is gonna be nice against the early game Zerg units, and but doesn't really scale super well.
Dark doing a little bit of everything right now. Overlord speed on the way. His lair is almost finished. Will be nice against those Banshees. Of course, that Overlord gets on the high ground. Nothing there to spot it right now, and that's gonna hang on. You were right though. Armory on the way there, Maynarde. More Aliens and Banshees coming out as well. I believe Cloak is finished now. Spores are going down. Dark has a little bit of a work lead, has some Queens, has some Roaches, but a very fierce attack. Looks like it's working its way over to his side of the map.
Oh, another committal of Lings here, looking for that SCV line, and once again, they're finding some damage. They're going off the line. This time, INnoVation defends a little bit more solidly, though. But once again, he's also coming home. But this might actually work to his favor. Seeing that that armory is actually quite nice for Dark.
There's a Dropper Lord making. Yeah. Oh, it's the Queen Roach Ravager. But he didn't actually get Roach speed, did he? Even though the lair's finished. So I think he's just made Overlord speed to try and bring the Queens with this push to shoot down Banshees. So the whole point of this from Dark is to counterattack. He wants to shut down this pressure and then get over to the other side of the map. This is a disaster for INnoVation, running into Dark's huge army.
Oh yeah, he's taking a lot of damage here. The Hellbats is getting minced up by those Queens and Roaches. The Cyclone's doing a lot of damage from the back, but there's no upgrades, so Dark just overwhelms, and GG, that's all she wrote for game one.
I was confused when I saw that Overlord speed at first. I was like, why is that queuing up? I was thinking about it, and then the moment I realized no roach speed, no extra upgrades there. Oh, it's that timing. So it was basically like, hey, I'm just going to build up a big Roach Ravager Queen army. Banshees are usually the counter to this on this map. So you know what? I'm just going to drop those 4 Queens with an Overseer, get rid of the Banshees, and then my Ravagers and Roaches can kill you. And you know what works really well when you're planning a big all-in like that, Maynarde? It's if they decide to come across the map with their army and fight you in the open. So I feel like that's just like everything going right for Dark that game. I mean,
Certainly.
Ling run by in the early game as well. It was just everything going his way.
Up to this guy on camera right now to fight back and tie it up, having a bit of a rough time in TVZ, the matchup that he's been known almost infamously for. Remember when he was undefeatable in Heart of the Swarm, when he had that parade push style, that 3CC,
Oh, man.
rally all your Marines and mines across the map and just kill everything style that INnoVation was known for.
You know, he's been so good for so long. It's funny, because then you can fast forward a few years to the end of Heart of the Swarm, and he was unbeatable with his mech style as well. It's like, he's actually just been unstoppable at so many different points in the meta. And right now, unfortunately, not looking too powerful in this tournament. These Zergs kind of having his number.
Oh my god, I think I just saw you thermal 2-1 true over there on Todd's screen.
Ooh. Spoiler alert, Maynard! We wanted to get the update.
I have no shame.
I do see Todd lining up a replay, actually, so he's gonna show us a nice moment. He seems a little bit excited over there. He's got some cool plays and some amazing dance moves off camera, unfortunately.
Because he's schlappy happy. Wow, he's actually... Todd was actually shutterbugged out of control over there. Nearly fell to pieces. It's a shame that wasn't on camera. In the bottom left here, currently up 1 in the series, this is Dark. We have to reel it in, guys. It's approaching delirium hour for us caster bros up here. And in the top right, currently down the series, but I believe in his ability to tie it up. This is INnoVation.
All right, back to a more standard map here on Blackpink. The final match, if we get there, will be Eastwatch. A map which I think actually plays pretty well towards INnoVation's strengths in terms of lots of great siege tank positions on that map. At the same time, very powerful for a Zerg who's going to use the mobility counterattacks on those many paths, so it can go both ways. But this one here, a very straightforward map. This is probably the most common map we see right now. Can we call this the overgrowth of 2018?
It's the overgrowth. It's the Dusk Towers. The
Ohana.
The Ohana. Yeah, the Proxima. You know.
Oh yeah.
It's the one that you keep seeing over and over and over again. And you know what? That speaks to the map's quality, really.
Yeah.
You know, it's the players like it because there's nothing really wrong with it, and they like it quite a bit because it's, you know, just something that they feel they have a pretty good shot on regardless of the matchup. So.
And a common theme we see, I think, is like the more expansions you go, especially past 3 or 4 bases, you start to get really spread out on the map. And I really like that. You know, I think a problem we used to have with some maps is sometimes the 5th, 6th, 7th would actually kind of just fall neatly in line, and you'd be like, oh cool, this isn't that hard to defend, and the game could kind of drag on, but the players really have to fight for control over areas of the map. There's lots of paths that open up to attack each other's economy as they expand further into the game, so definitely gets a lot of dynamism because of that. He's going to be a Reaper into Marine coming across the map. Zerglings and Queens are on the way. Dark once again going to hide over here at the 3rd. It's really just so common at the moment. Zerg players realizing that if they go for this fast 3rd, they can drop a fast creep tumor on the natural, get the creep out very early while still getting up their production and their economy. And I feel like Zergs, you know, even a few years into Legacy of the Void, have just figured out how to optimize these openings.
Certainly has. INnoVation's first Reaper coming in here for a bit of a dance with the Devil. And he finds, looks like it may be a couple Ling kills, but nope, never mind. Dark is pretty good at this video game.
Yep, no freebies there. Unlike, you know, it was interesting that Euthermal Solar series earlier, we saw quite a few drones go down. Then other than that, Solar just locked everything down and still won those games very neatly. But here we see Dark just crisp and perfect from the get-go. One of the most impressive players to actually watch first person as well is Dark. Every time we get to see him at BlizzCon, it's just so cool to watch how blazing fast he is with his movements while being very accurate.
Hello, friend. No opening here for that Reaper. Has to get out of there. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, obviously at BlizzCon, there's the first person player cam on the side of the stage.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people tell me, like, you know, people that get little nerdgasms when they watch their favorite pro gamer on stage. They're like, oh, I don't even watch the main screen. I just watched first person.
I actually
Dark.
really hope Dark gets in like a really bad position in this game, just so we can go to his first-person camera when he's defending multiple aggression.
Oh,
And they're going to do it right
thank
now
you very
anyway.
much.
I was hoping
Well,
when he's defending like 4-pronged attacks, but even this is cool. He just bounces between everything so fast, but especially when he's under pressure, where any other Zerg would start like losing drones in different locations, he's so good at dealing with those situations, and it's almost a bit dizzying for, I think, a lot of the new viewers and new StarCraft fans. Are like, what is he doing bouncing around that quickly? But what he's doing right now is spreading creep, keeping his injects down on his hatcheries, reassigning his drones and his economy, and just kind of making sure everything is done as quickly as possible, optimized for maximum efficiency.
And also, it's not uncommon for people to be really quick in the early game, but guys, Dark's this fast all game long. So that's, you know, if you're trying to think about, oh, what's a mechanically demanding esport, well, you're watching it right now. We've got a Baneling nest going down with Leigh, so it looks like Dark possibly heading up to Lingbane Hydra. Could be Buta as well. We're seeing Solar whip that out a bit.
Ooh.
And it's a lot of Hellions. Queens are here to meet them, though.
Cheeky Viking, though, does get the Overlord kill.
Yeah, no transfuse.
Very
not quite.
nicely done, of course. Wants to push this Vision of Dark's back. This is one of the most useful big uses for the Viking, but you don't want to lose it. Does just barely get out of it. He's actually queued up to go back in. That is so greedy. He's using the Hellions to distract the Queens, but those Queens are going to go for it, and INnoVation, too greedy. Does lose the Viking after just a single Overlord kill. Very good defense by Dark so far.
Punished for greed. All right, well, we have a transition here from INnoVation. This time he's getting a, you know, not going for the same opening that he's been doing pretty much every game against all the Zerg series we've seen on the mainstream. He's actually going for quicker double upgrades. He's getting a reactor on his starport instead of a tech lab, so no Cloak Banshee this time, but he's starting what looks to be a timing attack. Getting Stim, getting 1-1, and getting tanks and marinas with medevac support.
Yeah, lots of big tank pushes on this map. We see a lot of people, like, you know, might even add a second factory, go for one of those big bio tank pushes here as the game progresses. His upgrades are ahead, which is going to be very nice. Dark, of course, on the other side, going for a very fast Baneling speed. Seems to be Zerg's answer at the moment to the fact that they don't always have the scouting info, and that does help keep them safe throughout. Dark only on 5 gases for the moment. One of the first players to really toy with his gas timings a little bit and actually say, you know what, sometimes I don't need that gas. I'm just going to saturate the minerals on my 4th base really early. And it used to be rushing to Hive for Ultras. These days, he's going to take that gas just a little bit later on, making sure he has a huge amount of Lingbane Queen to defend the early stages. So when he does go up to Hydras, it's off a much bigger economy. He's very commonly going up to like 85 workers once he gets to that mid-late game stage.
Annoying little harassment here with the Lings. INnoVation still has these Hellions that Dark has to worry about, but I think the real threat is right here in this Stim upgraded Marine army and 2 tanks loaded up in 2 medevacs. This is actually something I think he did against True on Eastwatch. And I think he's going to try and whip it out again against Dark here. Dark
nice
with a
angle,
really quick 4th hatchery.
Ooh,
That's a nice spot for those tanks.
Yeah, that's a beautiful position right there. The Bane speed is nice. The Queen's coming forward. Will do something. But, oh, those siege tank shots taking out a lot of these units.
Well, this is going to be a not too bad cleanup for Dark. He connected all the Banelings on the Marines there, and INnoVation lost his army very, very quickly.
Right before the upgrades finished as well. We saw 1-1 and combat shields finish right after that. But I mean, realistically, it was just, you know, the position, the Bane speed there really just allowed Dark to shut that down. And we talked about Dark's worker count. His 4th base is already getting covered in workers. He's already almost up to 80. They're all just making their way over here now, traveling across this map, and now starting to add on his extra gas guys as his Hydra upgrades coming in. Most importantly, what you've got to keep an eye on is the mini-map. In this matchup, Hydra Baneling versus Biotank, it's all about the creep spread. If Dark can control the map enough to get his creep past the halfway point, that buys him a huge amount of time. INnoVation simply cannot engage with his main army on that creep. He's just able to come in, only using Marines and medevacs, pick off a tumor or 2, and then he has to pull back. And he's got to try to slowly push that creep back. If Dark can get it out far enough, he buys enough time to get Hive, Ultras get out, Vipers get out, and that's where it's a real nightmare for Terran.
He's actually so close to already achieving that goal you were talking about. He's got a lot of active creep tumors, and About a third of the map already covered, so the onus is on INnoVation. Start clearing that up, going for pushes, starting to slowly encroach on the Zerg territory, which is spiraling out of control here for Dark. A little bit of a scuffle here with his Marines.
He's even able to just push off creep like this. I mean, this is a little bit inefficient, but it puts a lot of pressure on INnoVation. INnoVation is going for the fast fourth base. Terran players have started doing this. It is actually the meta. We've seen players like Uthermal do it as well. Rather than the old days where it was, you know, kill them on 3 bases or die trying, Terrans are actually saying we've got to get a fast fourth or we just can't keep up with the hive tech of Zerg. So rather than forcing themselves into a position where they're saying, I need to win before Ultras, they're saying this way I can afford extra starports for libs, I can afford extra factories for siege tanks, and continue it from there. But even with that economy, the creep spread does worry me, Maynard.
It certainly does. Of course, for all you guys watching from home, creep spread increases the speed of Zerg units and also offers map vision, so it's very, very easy for them to respond to attacks coming at them here. INnoVation's got a relatively decent army against what Dark has for now, but the operative word is for now. It is going to be hive units shortly. There's a hive starts here for Dark. And that's why INnoVation's already, on that fourth base, like Pig talking about, getting out these Liberators, because that is one of the best tools to deal with hive tech.
88 workers, a 5th base covered in drones. Dark has 5 mineral lines completely full of workers. INnoVation has a timer on, man. He's got to do something. He's got to do it soon. Hydra's finding these Liberators, though. They're not going to find any damage. This is just so hard for INnoVation.
There is a spot here.
Real hole to dig himself out of.
Certainly is. Oh my god, a Baneling bust here as well. INnoVation and late on the pullback of the SCVs.
Burrowing in the mineral line as well. Was Inno what?
No!
Oh my gosh.
Dark's waiting for a tasty target. He's like, nah, not 4 SCVs. I want the whole damn thing.
Okay, ends up unburrowing and only getting a small handful.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, these Liberators are going to pop up and be annoying. Dark finally showing that that one burrow strat that people on Reddit have been calling for about 7 years. It didn't work out that efficiently, unfortunately. Hopefully you'll try it again a little bit later.
I actually, as much as INnoVation's had a bit of a shaky game so far, I don't hate his position, though. I have to admit, 3-3 on the way, double Ghost Academy, so we're going to be seeing Ghost soon. And I know INnoVation is a brother that loves his nukes.
Yeah, this is definitely.
It's going to be
what you got to do, right?
It's going to be a he's clearly not afraid of the late game. He's going to push that point and try and meet Dark toe to toe on it. But when you throw in nukes as well, I feel like Terran's getting better at using them, even though he nuked his own army that one time.
He's got to use some TY levels of patience to make this work, man. He's going to have to pray to TY that he knows how to control his ghosts and everything as well as he does. Wonder if we might even see Ravens in the later stages of this. For now, the creep is at the doorstep. Dark covering this map. He's got 3-3 on the way. This bio wants to push it back, encountering just a small section of Dark's army. INnoVation decides to stand and fight. He's taking some nice trades. Check out the SCV count, Maynard. I feel like INnoVation has a couple of workers.
Yeah, I mean, INnoVation... There was that meme, just play like TY. It looks like if the nameplates were gone, I would say this is TY playing right now.
Yeah. I feel like it's like he's changed every Terran's view of where the proper amount of economy is, because he's just the best at late game, and now they're all starting to do it. They're all starting to got this crazy worker count. I guess you kill 20 workers, INnoVation's like, it's fine, I've got 75 more, man.
Well, this is not fine. This is actually quite a bit of damage here from Dark, forcing a lift off on that CC, which is already damaged, losing 2 tanks as well as a bunch of supply depots. INnoVation has to come and deal with this. Luckily, he has multiple command centers, so he can actually almost double expand if he wanted to. Although I feel like, I was going to say these are going to become planetaries.
Yep.
Well, one is going to be planetary, one's going to be orbital, but he's going to set up a bit of a choke point. It's going to be tough for Dark to do run-bys efficiently.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. It almost feels like Dark's let INnoVation back into the game just a little bit, but I mean, with this Hydra composition, the thing is you don't really have a way of just finishing the game. It's not a great aggressive composition, it's a great defensive composition. You go off creep with your Hydras, they're going to get choked up. They're going to get stuck behind each other, they're not going to do that well. And INnoVation has taken advantage of this. He's saying, look, I'm only going to be mobile with bio medevac. If it ever gets in trouble, we're going to pick up and we're going to leave. That's why I feel like Dark needs to get out these Vipers and start abducting these medevacs. He needs to focus on this creep spread on the south side of the map, which he's been ignoring. He has missed a big amount of creep. And because of this, INnoVation now has room to secure the whole north side. He's got sensor towers. He's got so many extra command centers going up. He's got siege tank lines, missile turrets. And if he can keep taking new bases like this, INnoVation's taking it to the supreme max late game. It comes down to who's better at this stage of the game. All those advantages that Dark fought for earlier, they're not really worth anything anymore.
Not so much, although he keeps taking nice fights here at this location. Nuke does land, but the Ghost looks like it's going to die to the Spine Crawler. Ultra's on the field now. INnoVation not with a ton of units down here, but here come the Ghosts!
He's coming forward for the snipes. A couple of beautiful focus fires there. Pulls everything back. The SCVs evacuated. The Marines focus fired. The orbital and the building command center survived. Oh yeah, we got to see the units lost after that one. That was pretty brutal there. INnoVation, about, what was that, 3,500, 4,000 resources ahead. That's going to tell the story of this game. Because Dark, he's going to be mining a little bit more than Inno. So Inno needs to be more efficient than him.
Yeah, definitely. Each one of these nukes is 100 minerals and 100 gas, by the way, so they're not free. But
nuke a single red hit point Spine Crawler.
It's one Ghost. It's on one hit point. I've got this in the bag. Solid Snake. Oh, man, it's actually going to kill this. Yeah, nice.
The Ghost is just the most melodramatic, hilarious unit. Never say die.
Press the action button. We Siege tanks and Ghosts, oh my, here for INnoVation. This is a great late game army. Here are the Vipers, oh, EMPs are the Vipers! Oh! They're taken out of the battle! Oh,
the
into the corner, into the corner!
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
The moment where you go nowhere to run, you accidentally move command your Marines into the Bailey. Not that it mattered, he was in a corner anyway, but it just looked hilarious.
Oh, I don't know about this one for Dark. This actually seems like a really good trade for INnoVation.
This is a habit Dark has in these situations where he likes to win by trying to headbutt a brick wall sometimes. And the thing is, Dark gets such a good economy, sometimes it works. But that situation where you're like, I'm going to run 40 Banelings into 6 siege tanks and a planetary. Can we check the units lost tab again? Because I feel like it's going to be a lot worse. There we go. Now he's up to about
10,000 mineral difference.
And not to mention 1,000 gas as well. He's gone from 4,000 to 7,000 in a few minutes. He's mining more than INnoVation, but not that much more. He does need to get more efficient trades than that. Dark can't keep just throwing away masses of Ultra Baneling. We saw him play and lose a game like this not that long ago, actually.
This might be quite nice. Swarms of things are good against Ghosts.
No
Overseers and Banelings.
That's no detection actually. There. These Ghosts will... There we go. Oh, he didn't get the snipe on that. Oh, the single Overseer providing detection. He loses almost all of his Ghosts. No siege tanks or liberators to support.
Oh, man.
That is what Dark was looking to create. Yeah, he took a few inefficient trades, but he forced INnoVation out of position, and in the chaos, he jumps on all the valuable units.
A single mistake is all that it takes sometimes when players are as good as Dark. They will punish you for it. These Ultras are going down. INnoVation loses 29 SCVs. And loses his bases, loses a bunch of his army. I feel like losing the army stings more than the workers because INnoVation's actually still got an alright, kind of like almost 60 SCVs isn't terrible, but that Burrowed Ling actually making things a little bit awkward here. There we go.
You know, it's always crazy because Terran can look so unstoppable in these situations, but you've got to babysit those Ghosts.
Yeah.
He went down there with what? It was like 30 Marines, 30 Ghosts. You need more support for those Ghosts, or you need to be on point with sniping those Overseers the moment they come in range, and he wasn't on top of either. As a result, loses a lot of his economy. Now the north side under assault. The SCVs are trying to escape, but he's losing so much in the process.
Snipes going down on these Ultras, or at least attempting it, but he do blood. Oh, God, the banners on the south. Oh, all right, all right.
Close your eyes, Terran players. Close your eyes.
I'm like hiding in a corner, closing my eyes and hoping it goes away, that it's not real, Pig, but unfortunately it is. Dark is in a pretty commanding position now. INnoVation with a counterattack with this bio gets one of the hatcheries of Dark and is engaging these Queens and maybe might get another hatchery, but Dark still has a pretty commanding position at the moment with 82 drones and a lot of bases where that came from.
Yeah, desperate little attack here, trying to take advantage of the very low number of anti-air, but these Hydras on the right-hand side have found a position just outside of Liberator range. He tries to do a hot redrop does snipe down all
What?
the Hydras.
What?
This is actually a
What?
sick engagement by Inno. Finally, Dark realizes, wait a second, why am I fighting this? Just back off. I've got so many more
Brothers
bases.
are about to pop right on the medevacs, by the way,
man.
but anyway.
This is really tough. INnoVation, of course, down and dirty, trying to find efficiency. He's in a massive spot of trouble right now, and I think with the Corruptors there, it's like, yeah, just save whatever you can, but it's not going to be a lot. Most of those are just going down.
Yeah, it looks like if not all of them are going down here. INnoVation.
Turn on the NOS. Get out of there, guys.
There's that boost. Vin Diesel's in these medevacs. Well, he's getting this hatchery to the north. He's killed a couple in the south as well. Hitting from the north and the south is INnoVation with what he has left with his Terran bio. Still has a couple nukes, but I think it's kind of more on these snipes and the EMPs and those Vipers here at this point.
He can come from the north and the south all he wants, but I feel like it's just going to be one Zerg world colliding with this one, Maynard.
Oh.
He is surrounded. Ultras, Banelings, Corruptors rolling through. Desperate micro from Inno. Will he be able to hold on?
He's trying to do whatever he can with what he has here, but Dark still with overwhelming numbers. See INnoVation trying to escape with a ghost, but he gets caught and he taps out the GG. And we saw it all in first person. That's quite a lot of experience points there.
Well, you get experience even when you lose a very important match here. So, you know, unfortunately for INnoVation, it's going to be very tough to make it out of this group now. He is going to be going to a 1-win, 3-losses scoreline. Dark getting himself back into a better position now. He goes, is it 2-2, right?
I believe it's 2-2, yeah. Because he was a similar score with INnoVation being 1 and 2. INnoVation now 1 and 3, Dark 2 and 2. So that makes a lot of sense. That means Dark stays alive. He can still come out of this group. There is hope for him still, but hope is dwindling for INnoVation. Stuff needs to line up for him very, very well, and he needs to start putting points on the board to be able to get out of this one. We have our short break coming up with an interview with Dark, and then more StarCraft, guys. Don't go away. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Intel Extreme Masters. We just saw Dark play INnoVation and take him down. So first of all, Dark, congratulations. This was a really important match for you. And it being such an important match and going up against such a strong player like INnoVation, did you feel a little bit more pressure coming into it? 일단 축하드리고요.
네.
되게 중요한 경기였잖아요.
네.
지면 탈락이니까. 근데 이제 중요한 경기이기도 하고 엄청 어려운 상대였기 때문에 부담감이 더 커졌나요?
사실 근데 일단 축하받을 자리는 아닌 것 같고요. 신영 형한테 지면은 이제 떨어지는 거니까 신영 형도 1승 2패더라고요. 그거 듣고 저도 좀 깜짝 놀랐는데 서로 그냥 웃으면서 지면은 그냥 떨어지는 매치니까 그냥 재밌게 하자 이런 식으로 했는데 긴장은 더 많이 했던 것 같아요. 오히려.
So he says, honestly, I don't think I'm in any position to be congratulated. Coming into this, it was interesting because I noticed that we were both 1-2 and in a position of being eliminated. So because of that, prior to the match, we just said, okay, let's just try to have fun since whoever loses would be eliminated. But I think I actually felt more pressure coming into it. And it's funny because after you won the game, we saw that you went over to INnoVation and you guys were laughing and talking about something. So what were you guys talking about? 일단 경기가 끝나고 이신영 선수한테 가가지고 얘기를 나누면서 웃는 모습이 보였는데 그때 무슨 얘기를 하고 있었나요?
그냥 서로 1, 2등으로 올라갈 줄 알았는데 여기서 탈락 매치 하고 있어가지고 좀 그렇다 이런 식으로 얘기했고요. 그냥 둘 다 좀 컨디션이 안 좋은 것 같아요 오늘 보니까. 그래서 신영이 형 이긴 만큼 좀 올라가도록 노력해봐야죠.
So he says, honestly, we both thought that we would be competing for first and second place of the group, not facing each other in the elimination match of the group. So we were kind of laughing about how ironic that situation was. But because I took him down and I'm still in this group, I want to work really, really hard so that I can still advance and qualify. And now last but not least, up next, you're going to be facing Uthermal. Uthermal, I think, has been surprising a lot of people because he's done very well in this group so far. So what are your thoughts on that and how he'll do? 일단 유털머 선수를 다음에 만날 건데 유털머 선수가 생각보다 되게 잘하고 있어요. 그래서 그거에 대해서 어떻게 생각하고 좀 혹시 걱정되는지요?
들었을 때 좀 놀랐고요. 그리고 사실 유서말 선수가 잘해서 무섭기보다는 제가 이겨도 못 올라갈까 봐 지금 그게 무섭네요.
So he says two things. First of all, I was really surprised at the results that he had. And honestly, when it comes to the second point, I'm more scared about the fact that I'm not necessarily scared about losing to him, but I'm more scared about the fact that even if I beat him, I might not qualify. So that's kind of what's more on my mind right now. So there's a lot of things to be figured out with this group. But for now, congratulations again. We'll see how things pan out for this Group B. It's been very interesting.
That's right, indeed. Dark manages to basically keep himself alive, but who knows how long for here in Group B. Joining me, we have Tasteless, we have Todd. INnoVation has lost and lost and lost, and now finds himself in 5th place. I think there is still a crazy, wacky world where he can potentially advance, but that would be an insane result if that was to come about. But we never thought INnoVation would be in this precarious spot.
He's having a bad day. And the Intel Extreme Masters here in Katowice, you're not allowed to have a bad day.
No.
You better have 6 amazing days in a row or you are out of the
Like
tournament.
you, Tasteless.
That's right. That's why I will not be eliminated and go on to casting on day number 4 here.
That would be quite a feat if we actually did eliminate casters as days continue on. Todd, I think we can check in with your laptop because you did have which match?
Uthermal against True, which was tied 1-1, and heading into the last game,
Okay.
we can go into it. I'm gonna do a quick recap here before I play it through.
Cool.
We were at about 6 minutes. Not much had happened. Here, if we look at the units that died, a couple drones got fried, just from that picture you can get what happens. Uthermal did something fantastic. True wasn't scouting much, he was just droning up. He has one single overlord across the map. He didn't spot anything. What did Uthermal do? He hit 2 barracks here. Made a ton of units and try to hit a 2-base timing. Much like in ZVZ, you need to remove your opponent's scout first and foremost, so that's those 3 Marines' job. On the other side of the map, all True can make right now is Zerglings. He's getting the Baneling Nest, but he's still...
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of late. In a normal game against a Terran that's going for a 3rd base, this won't matter. But this is not a normal game, guys.
That's a lot of
Mass Marines
Yeah.
are going to head across the map, some tanks as well, and Uthermal will hit a massive tank. So I'll just speed it up here a little bit. And Uthermal is he's going for it. At this stage, True, he's realizing what's happening. He's afraid to hit a supply block, so he starts a lot of overlords. He's getting as many links as he can. And he feels like he doesn't even have time to start any baneling, so he's not even going to do that. He's just getting links and hoping that he can take a good fight with Queens. But Uthermal does not give him any time. And by the way, these two Evos are kind of playing against True now. He kind of gets trapped here on this side of the map. No upgrade for you. Keeps on sniping Queens, and just like that, like Uthermal is just powering through. That was a beautiful build order, by the way. Like, I have to say, like, perfectly timed in the final game, all on the line. If Uthermal had lost that, he'd be in a pretty bad spot. But with this attack, just wins the game, and he finds himself in a 3-1 score situation in that group.
All right. There you go. Thank you very much, Todd. Uthermal, at the moment, the big surprise, really. There's been many surprises of Group B, never mind anything else. But one of the big surprises is Uthermal so far doing oh so well. I think what's confirmed already as well is that our next match is Dark and Uthermal, as you can take a look at the groups here as well. And that will confirm our suspicions that, you know, Solar is doing very well, Uthermal's doing pretty well, but there's still this crazy situation between 2 and number 5, where still things can shift around, especially for people like Dark and Hurricane, who are sitting just on the border of that qualification round.
If Dark beats Uthermal, it's 3-2. So is Uthermal, but he beats him. So direct comparison usually comes first for this kind of situation. Remember, we're talking about Dark, the guy that barely ever loses to any non-Korean player. He's 27-1 on Legacy of the Void. The only guy that he's lost to was Laser at the last BlizzCon.
Yep.
And one of those names that he took was Uthermal's at last year Intel Extreme Masters Katowice with a 2-0. So here we are again, with all of it on the line potentially. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation that we're seeing here in Group B. Thank you very much, gents. We're going to go to a short break. And then when we return, we have a few more matches left here for Group B.